welcome back into another edition of Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt, joined as always by Broken Arrow Tiger head coach Josh Blankenship. And Coach, let's talk look a little bit back at that game against UConn last Thursday. It seems like it's been forever now because it's almost been a full week. But when you guys went back and looked through the film of that game, what stood out to you?
The way our guys started, the way they maintained, and then the way they finished. Going into the week, it was a very short week. There was some testing going on. We had fall break. We had homecoming, game on Thursday. There were all kinds of reasons for us to be distracted. And so looking back on it, I was really pleased with, like I said, how we started, maintained, and finished.
It's a lot of outside factors over the course of that week, and yet it seems like that might have been maybe your most complete game of the year as a team.
I thought so. Was really pleased with our special teams. Obviously, the defense had their work cut out for them with a very unique offense that they were going against. And then, complementary football, we had to be efficient on offense to not put our defense in a position to have to be out there for the entirety of the game.
Right. And we're gonna talk more about that defense here in just a little bit because that was an impressive performance by those guys the other night. Offensively, been on a roll the last couple of games, 40-plus in the last couple of games. You put up 500-ish yards in that game against UConn. What is this group starting to turn the corner? What are you seeing from that offensive side right now?
They're starting to gel. I think a few weeks ago we've mentioned the fact that we're kind of starting to find our home in the run game, and then once you get there, then you can build everything off of that. Then you move some pieces around, whether it be unfortunate or fortunate, with Nate getting his ankle dinged up and then us having to use Marion full-time kind of showed us that maybe he ought to be back there quite a bit more. So a lot of good things happening, and, finding some comfort in what we're doing and then who we're doing it with.
And Marion, 21 touches, 266 yards. He'll join us a little bit later in the show. You've also had kind of a mix at quarterback right now. Sterling Ramsey's playing back there some. Of course, Griffin Stieber is still back there. They both threw for touchdowns the other night, so both were effective. How are they different in that quarterback spot? How do their skill sets differ from each other?
A lot of things are similar, believe it or not. They're both dangerous running the football. There's just Sterling's a little bit twitchier, and then Griffin's going to run you over. So there's some positives to what they bring when things break down, or if you're calling something specifically for them to take off the ball. They both throw it well. They both have really good command of the system. I think the threat for Sterling to take off at any time is something that a defense really has to account for, and that can cause some problems. And you've seen that play out the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't envy anybody trying to look in the backfield and figure out whether Sterling Ramsey or Marion Horn is going to get the football. That's a tough challenge to try to slow down. Let's talk a little bit more about Marion. He carried the ball more on Thursday than the rest of the season combined. He had a bunch of touches. You mentioned Nate Jones was down in that game. We know how athletic he is overall, but specifically when he's lined up in the backfield as a tailback, what does he bring to the table?
I think his ability to really see the creases, and then he's got not only the ability to see it, but almost a jump cut, or he's pretty thin, and for him to be able to squirt through there and then still have the physicality to take on a safety or beat a safety with speed, he's very, very special. And seeing him do that through an entire game was really eye-opening and impressive.
Yeah, it can look at times like there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden there is something there for Marion Horn. Those guys up front, I mean, you guys ran for well over 400 yards in that game, and it wasn't just Marion. There was a bunch of different guys carrying the football. What did you see from them on film after that contest?
Consistency. We like I said, we've kind of found what we're good at, and then the more you're able to rep that in practice and it just feel normal for those guys. And then they're getting, without playing dirty, they're getting nastier and meaner and more physical for the full length of the play, which really, especially when a play gets strung out like on outside zone, when they stay with it and gives a guy like Marion a chance to see a crease, all of a sudden when it appears and to take it, that's really where I see them improving.
As you add that consistency in the running game, does that help with consistency in the passing game as well?
Yeah, because you've got to commit more people to the box. RJ had a touchdown, I think the second drive. We had started the game thinking we were going to take a shot to him. We had loaded up the box. They wanted to double out there. Then we drive down on the first drive and just beat them up in the run game. We get the ball the second drive after an interception, and we get in the same set that we started with, but this time they left him one-on-one out there. That's what it gives you in the passing game is they've got to pick what they want to stop.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that has been consistently getting better over the last few weeks is that penalty yardage. That the average is down more than 20 yards per game over the course of those last 3 contests. So you've seen phenomenal numbers there. What's going well? Why have those guys been able to kind of cut down on those penalties here recently?
Well, playing on the east side's a little better. Wink, wink. More sound football. If you know what you're blocking up front and you block it well, you're less likely to get called for a hold. If you're flying to the football and you're in position on defense, you're less likely to get there late, do something foolish. Sound football is going to result hopefully in less penalties.
And what's the next thing you want to see improve offensively? You made a lot of progress.
Sure.
What's coming next?
We've got to beat a better opponent. So it's awesome that we did what we did against UConn and Edmond Memorial, but we're trying to build for a run in the playoffs. We have a huge test against a team that was in the state finals last year and then a team that's beaten Broken Arrow the past 2 years. So this is what I want to see. I want to see us continue to progress against a really good team.
That's Josh Blankenship. We'll be back with more in just a moment on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crit.
Everybody loves spending fun money. What would you do if TTCU Federal Credit Union gave you $200? Maybe something fun for someone else. Or something for you and your bestie. Now you can earn a $200 bonus just for opening a new TTCU checking account with direct deposit. Now that's fun money you can really enjoy. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt alongside Josh Blankenship. And, Coach, you mentioned the defense had a unique challenge last week against that UConn offense, a very physical team. They run some triple option type stuff. How did the defense fare against a very strong and tough offense?
They did a phenomenal job, and they really put in the work on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to be ready for a short week. Playing a triple option or, a modern version of triple option. It's a change-up, and so you go from all of your normal rules that you have in your defense week in and week out, and then all of a sudden you're facing something completely different. They met the challenge, and man, I was pleased.
There are a lot of guys had to kind of step up to the task, be more physical in that game. One guy whose role can vary a lot depending on the scheme is Javion Franklin. He had 13 tackles in that game. What does that say about his willingness to come up and be physical in the run game?
He's fearless. He'll fly in there and fill the alley. He doesn't back down from anything. I think he's a guy that has really improved week in and week out, regardless of stats. We see it on film. We see it in practice. Even turning into a really strong leader for us as well.
With the exception of the third quarter, you held UConn to 57 yards or fewer in the other 3. So consistently across the board, some limiting them in terms of moving the ball, moving the chains. Why were you guys able to be consistent really from start to finish defensively in that game?
It sounds cliche, but we really talked about having a chip on our shoulder or having an edge. These guys know the history, and they knew that they had been in tight games with UConn the past couple of years, and we really tried to push them to prepare in a way, despite all the distractions, to go be the best team. And to watch them do that for 4 quarters was really awesome.
I count 8 sacks on the year for the Tigers, but more than 50 QB hurries. I think it's 57 is the total. What's it going to take to kind of get those next few guys to the ball and kind of start to bring guys down in the backfield more?
I'll take the hurries
as
much as I'll take the sacks. If we're hurrying a guy or flushing him out or making him do something than what the play was designed to do, that's a very positive thing. And these guys have their work cut out for them going into this next week when you've got a very mobile quarterback he wants to be on the run. So I'll take the hurries.
One number that is a little bit hard to compute in my head is Tigers have forced 15 fumbles this year and somehow have only gotten on 2 of them. There were some bad snaps when we saw at Westmore that you never really had a chance to get on, but is that just some bad luck and bad bounce? It seems like eventually those are going to start to fall into your hands a little bit.
I hope so. The guys do a great job of punching at the ball and pulling at the ball, placement when they're tackling. There have been some really weird, freaky ones early in the season where the ball literally bounced right back up to the Union running back.
Scored a touchdown on it.
Yeah, I think Westmore had one of those. I think they had a gadget play that we're still not sure if the quarterback tried to bounce it to him or if it was an accident, and then they had the throwback. So there's been some goofy things that have happened. But if the ball's on the ground when our defense is out there, we're doing something right.
And finally, on the defensive side, you're holding opponents just 39% on third down in the last few weeks, 22% on fourth down, and that included a big goal line stop in that game last week where the defense was backed up against the goal line. What's the key to success in a situation like that where you've got a yard, maybe less, to give up, and you got to try to get a stop on multiple plays?
I think two different conversations. I think, efficiency on third down is the same thing whether you're on offense or defense. It's how good did you do on first and second. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to dictate your third down percentages. But that goal line stand was a whole nother conversation and potentially culture changing. I mean, for them to be down on the 2 and then inches away on the second, third, and fourth down was awesome. I mean, and it's what does it take? It takes 11 guys willing to do whatever they got to do to make that stop, and they did it.
And then you look at the momentum shift in that game. Marion Horn, 3 runs later, had gone 99 yards the other direction and punched it in. So that was certainly a big-time moment for the Tigers in that win over UConn last week. We'll take a break. We'll hear from Marion Horn when we return in just a moment. This is Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
Recently, you've had to put your life on hold, and we're with you in this. At Ascension St. John, we're now open for appointments, and we are fully prepared for your safety in our care. As we open our doors again, our doctors, nurses, and care teams will continue to wear personal protective equipment. We've taken even more steps to clean and stringently disinfect all areas. We will maintain distancing in our waiting rooms, and will continue to limit visitors. And we will still screen all staff to protect their health and yours. Our emergency rooms are here 24/7. Please do not delay care. We're still delivering babies and performing surgeries. And we're open for your appointments, from specialists in surgical care to routine care and health screenings. Ask us about virtual visits. Ascension St. John continues to care for you, as we have been for almost a century. Thank you for trusting us.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt, joined now by Broken Arrow Tiger running back, cornerback, kick returner. I don't know, might haul the ice bucket out before games. I don't know. It's Maurion Horn. Maurion, thanks very much for joining us for a little while here. You had carried the ball some this year already, but you surpassed all your total carries from this year in one game last Thursday against UConn. How'd you feel after that game? Were you beat up? That was a lot of the load you were carrying for 266 yards.
It felt amazing getting to be back there at running back and running behind that amazing O-line. It just felt good getting back at that, helping the team out a little more there.
You mentioned that offensive line. You guys ran for well over 400 yards as a team in that game. What did you feel like was going well for you guys as a group?
Just at practice, we just worked really hard. And as you see, that Thursday night, it all paid off.
Now, what do you feel like are some of your strengths as a running back specifically?
I feel like I can, find the hole pretty quickly, and I'm good on my feet, so I'm quick to jump, and my jump cut's very nice.
Spav likes talking about that jump cut quite a bit. He's pretty impressed by it. Now, you've also played some defense this year. You're committed to Texas Tech and to play both offense and defense. Do you have a preference one over the other?
No, I love both of them exactly the same. Just wherever I'm needed at on the field, that's where I'll be at.
What do you like about playing on the defensive side of the ball specifically?
I love the energy over there. Just after every play, it's so much energy from those guys. Same on the offensive side too, but just going out there and being able to hit somebody, that's just great, and not get in trouble for it.
You and R.J. Spears-Jennings are both committed to play major college football. Obviously, both of you guys are pretty athletic. Do you feel like there's much ground that you can't cover together on the defensive end?
I feel like it's probably very hard for our offense to get a ball thrown with both of us on the field, and just with our defense in general.
You got you're now 3-1 in district play. You got Santa Fe coming up this week. What are you looking forward to most about this game?
This is a big game. We haven't beat them in the last 2 years, and we're playing with a chip on our shoulder. And this game right here is very important. Really says if we're going to play home or not in the playoffs.
A lot riding on this game Friday night against Santa Fe. That's Marion Horn. We'll be back with more in just a moment on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
Just a reminder, there will come a time when they can no longer share a bedroom. That's why we have a complete array of home loans, so that dream of more space can come true. Right on time. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib. I'm Adam Hildebrandt alongside Josh Blankenship one more time as we look ahead to this game against Edmond Santa Fe on Friday. And Coach, you're 3-1 in the district, so things have been going well in district play. This is a big one, though. There's potentially some host things on the line come playoff time in this game against Santa Fe.
There are. We're not spending a whole lot of time talking about that. We're talking about the fact that this is the next game. You got to win at least 4 district games to get into the playoffs potentially, and that's where they're in our way. Then you add in the history we've talked about, that Broken Arrow hasn't beaten these guys the last couple of years. Very talented crew, very confident crew coming off a state championship run. So, we got to go into it again with an edge and a chip on our shoulder.
What are some things that they do well that you're going to have to look out for this week?
They're very, very good on offense. They got a quarterback that can sling it around. They've got a receiver that might be one of the best in the state. I believe it's his brother that's a tight end. I think they're both going to Oklahoma State. They've got a freshman running back that's really come on this year that's running behind a really good offensive line. Defensively, they've got some talent over there as well, but they really do lean on their offense to be explosive.
Yeah, a lot of weapons on that offensive end, and it'll be another tough test for the Tigers defensively over the course of this week, so we'll be looking forward to see how they take that on. That'll do it for this week. Thanks to Coach Blankenship for joining us, as well as Marion Horn. I'm Adam Hildebrandt. We'll talk to you Friday night on ArrowVision. This is Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.